All right, so I'm going to get going. I want to welcome everybody to our August edition of Sunset Trails Cub Scout Roundtable Breakout. This is about all I'm going to say because we have a fantastic and amazing guest speaker today. She's going to tell you all about good methodologies for recruitment, retention, and what's the other one, Heather? She'll tell you all the things. Membership, recruitment, retention, getting the ones that had drifted off back. It's fantastic. She's a good friend of mine. I hope you give her a great, big, warm Cub Scout welcome to Heather Cooper Crossman. Oh, sign-ins.
Okay, so the clipboard's going around. If you can sign in, name, rank, serial number, I think is your standardized thing. Especially your email, because these will all be available, all the slides will be available if you give me your email. Make sure you get it. So, and you get credit for being here. Okay, so we're revving up membership. I just took the district membership lead chair. It's not really a chair because I don't have a committee yet, which hopefully will be coming soon. Let me know if you're interested. And district's goal right now, council's goal right now, recruit. We need more boys. So we have decided we're going to rev up membership. I'm Heather Cooper Crossman. Crossman's all that fits on my name tag, so you can drop the Cooper. That's totally cool. This is my contact information. I also have business cards in the back if you want to grab one on your way out. If not, again, it'll be on the slides. And as I said, I'm it. I'm your membership committee for district right now. Hopefully that will change. So in all seriousness, if anyone is interested in joining my committee, or if you have someone in your pack who is currently functioning as your recruiting chair, your membership chair, or a den leader that you think is super outgoing and would love to get involved and help, that would be great, because I'm here to support the packs and I'm only one person. And I can't get to everybody with only one person, so I'd love more people. So if there is anybody, let me know. I can reach out and get in contact with you or anyone else. Yeah.
So are you doing dens and packs?
I am doing packs right now, focusing on cubs, eventually moving into doing troops as well.
So how many?
All of you.
I know, but how many are there?
How many are there right now?
Yeah, how many are you trying to focus?
I've got
126 total units.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got
LDS
20,
and traditional.
plus LDS.
Right, that is
So
LDS.
how many are we talking?
It's somewhere in the upper 20s of traditional units.
Yeah.
And
26 traditional, and I'm not 100% sure what LDS is because I got them there.
but it's a fair swap.
It's a fair number. And one of my goals this year is to create at least 3 brand new packs, which is going to also take a lot of work. So if you know anybody who's interested in starting from the ground up
Perfect.
as well. So that's that. Okay, so tonight we're going to talk about what the district membership visions and goals are. We're going to talk about 3 key areas. I've narrowed it down to a nice little acronym called RPM, which stands for Re-engage, promoting pack growth, maintaining your membership. We're going to cover some recruitment tips and tools, and then obviously questions, comments, final thoughts. So let's jump in. District membership vision. I'm sure you can all read it, but district membership vision is to build and increase membership within Sunset Trails by providing units with an easy-to-follow plan that will promote new scout growth, re-engage former scouts, and maintain youth retention. Pretty self-explanatory, I think. The real key on that is an easy-to-follow plan. Part of that's going to be figuring out what works for you. I'm going to throw a whole bunch of information at you. You take it for what it's worth. You pick and choose what works for you and what doesn't. So, membership goals, growth. You hear it, you've heard it over there. You'll hear it a lot. Growth, growth, growth. You want growth within scouting as a whole, all the way across the board. Cubs, troops, venture, everything. Growth within individual units. So you as Cub Masters, committee chairs, whatever, building your own unit. And then, like I said, creating new units within the district. The second part of that is retention. Keep the current scouts you got. Makes it a lot easier to grow your unit if you don't lose them along the way. Having successful crossovers, making sure those cubs make it across, into troops that are going to work well for them so that they stay in a troop and don't fall out of the troop. And then try to regain some disengaged scouts. We all have scouts who have disappeared through the years. We might know where they went. We might not know where they went. We're going to try and find them. We're going to try and find them. We're going to try to bring them back. So how are we going to accomplish it? It's a lot of goals. RPM. That's our goal. RPM stands for re-engage, promote, and maintain. Came up with that as just kind of an easy little acronym to remember. So re-engaging. Our district's down about 450 Cub Scouts from last year. It's about 22.7%. That's just Cubs. I didn't even touch Boy Scouts. That's a significant number. So when we look at that, I got a lot of, when I took the job, I got a lot of information thrown at me. So looking at that, what happened? We have scouts that have just, like I said, they left packs, right? We have scouts that didn't cross over. Some of them just didn't find a troop. They didn't find a troop that they liked. Some of them just said, I don't like bugs and camping, so I'm not going to do it. Either way, they didn't cross over. And then some crossed over and then didn't stay. Maybe they didn't find the right troop, they didn't find one that worked for them, or maybe they decided Boy Scouts wasn't really for them, and we let them go. So re-engaging is about locating those scouts who have left your unit and inviting them to return. Got a tow truck up there? It's kind of the visual. We're going to try to tow them back in. Find them, hook them back in. Why do you want to do that? It's an easy way to regrow your unit. It's a lot easier to bring in scouts who know the program, parents who know the leaders, parents who get it, scouts that still have friends in the unit, than to start over and recruit a whole bunch of new boys. Some of your scouts might have had barriers, which is what caused them to drop out. Transportation. I was a Girl Scout leader. There was a girl in my Brownie troop. Mom couldn't get her there. I drove 10 minutes out of my way to pick her up, bring her to the meeting. Not a big deal. Kept her involved. Sports. We all have kids that leave for sports. Sports don't go all year. Maybe they dropped out. They got used to not coming, so they just didn't bother, even though sports was over. Family emergencies. We've had a few that have left because of family emergencies. Those usually don't always last all the time either. So, hunting these kids down and finding out maybe these barriers to causing the leave are not there anymore. So yeah, and it's might be easier to re-engage. Might not be. You might have some kids that are harder to re-engage than getting new kids, but it's low-hanging fruit. It's worth a shot. Their kids have already been involved. So how do we find those former scouts to re-engage? Start with your former unit members. So go through, we recommend 2 years of your roster or 2 years of past leads, like you've gotten from any recruitment events. Go through 2 years and look at who you've lost and touch base with each one of those scout families. Invite them back. Look, hey, call them, email, whatever, invite them back. Your leads, especially if you use Be a Scout, which everybody should be using Be a Scout. If you're not, we'll talk about that later. Those inquiries came to you, those are kids who came looking for you. They came knocking on your door. You didn't have to do anything to get those leads. If you didn't pursue those leads, or you did but they didn't join, that's a really good option to bring those kids back in. So tools, right? We gotta have tools if we're gonna re-engage these kids. Recruitment events. We all have recruitment events. We should be having recruitment events. When you have a recruitment event, like if you're at a school, you're at your church, wherever you draw your scouts from, you know who those parents are. When you're standing at your booth and you see Johnny Cub Scouts parents, make an effort. Go take a couple steps over there. Hey, hello, how have you been? We missed you. Go out of your way to talk to them. Invite them to an event. Event is key on this one. Don't do the, oh, we haven't seen you in so long, let's get together and have coffee that we've all done with our friends on Facebook. Invite them to something specific, because what that sends is a message that you care that they're gone. You've actually missed them. You care about them coming back. And it's a way to make it personal and specific. We're having a join night on this date. We would love to have you come back and join us. Make it specific and personal. You can also do an email or a mail. I call it a mass email or mailing. You can do it that way, but still make it somewhat personal if you can do that. Again, still focusing on that specific event rather than just a general, hey, we'd love to see you come back. You can host a call night if you've got some leaders who are willing to get together, call those former Scout parents. My recommendation is to touch base with your families at least once. If you've made 4 or 5 calls, you've left 4 or 5 messages, they're probably not going to call you back. But make an effort to at least talk to them one time and get an answer, get a gauge on whether or not you think they're going to come back again. Utilize your current scouts. They've all got friends who've left. Have those scouts talk to their friends. Hey, scouting's still really fun. I really miss you at Scouts. You should come back. That would be awesome. Tell them how much fun scouting is. They have peer-to-peer, we call them buddy cards, that you can print off of the brand center, and I've got a link to all that, but they look like this. They come off on a sheet, and you can personalize them on the back. Put your join night information on there, give them to your scouts, have them hand them out at school. Peer-to-peer recruiting works really well for boys and moms. The 2 groups where it works really well. Word of mouth, peer-to-peer recruiting. And then of course there's district and council tools, be a scout. And if all else fails, that's what the membership committee is for. If you're having trouble getting hold of your parents, you've got one you think you could really rope back in if only they would answer the phone. So the keys on this, again, personal contact and follow-up are crucial for getting your scouts back. A lack of follow-up conveys the message that you don't care. If you have a scout, if you can put yourself in a parent position, you're gone for 2 or 3 weeks, your scout masters don't call you back, your cub masters aren't looking for you, your den leaders haven't called to say, what happened to Johnny? You are going to assume they don't really care that you're gone. They didn't notice that you were gone. Don't be that pack. Make sure your parents and your scouts know that you miss them and you want them to come back. Any questions on engaging? Okay. P is promote. Promoting your pack growth. Unit promotion equals unit growth. If you promote your pack, you will get new scouts. It just equals out, law of averages. Things to consider about growth and promotion. You want to know where you draw your scouts from. I have a list, if anybody wants to look at it, that I got from district that shows at each unit and where you're primarily getting your scouts from. So it'll show if you've got a school, how many boys you're getting from each one, in case you don't know where you get most of your scouts from. But you should have a good idea where you're drawing them from. How are the new scouts going to find you? Do you have a website? Are you using Be a Scout? Hand out flyers? How are they going to find you? If you've never recruited before, where do you start? And what tools are there to help you with it? And as a pack, you need to set your goals. You need to have an idea of how many youth you want to recruit, how many you think you can accommodate, because you could say, hey, I want 40 new boys, and you're meeting in a closet. That's not realistic. We say to approach it like a long-term, short-term weight loss strategy. Like if you're trying to lose weight, you don't go, hey, I'm going to lose 200 pounds tomorrow. You make little goals that are achievable. So if you approach recruiting the same way, growth the same way as you would a weight loss, it makes it a lot more doable and less intimidating. Promoting pack growth is about building your membership, identifying where you can draw scouts from, holding successful recruitment events, and using tools that work for you. Again, back to the tools that work for you. So where are we going to recruit new scouts from? Again, look through your roster. Where are you getting them from? You can get that info from district. Like I said, I have the report. If you need to know where you're getting them from, shoot me an email, give me a call, I'll let you know. Network with others in your location. And you got younger siblings from your current scouts, those are usually guaranteed right there. Use tools. council tools, district tools, national tools, local tools. There's all kinds of tools available for you to promote. Think outside the box, use stuff that district says works, use stuff that national says works. There's all kinds. I was on a webinar last night, they were talking about writing an editorial in a newspaper about your experience as a scout. All kinds of things. It's kind of sky's the limit as far as your imagination goes. The one thing that is crucial though is that district wants us to stay in our lane. Stay in your lane means to focus your recruiting on your current location. So if you're recruiting from schools, stay at that school. Church, stay at the church. Rather than switching to a new location, even if you think you've dried up all of your leads, just go deeper. Deepen that recruiting effort. Talk to coaches. Talk to people who do after school activities. Get to know your moms, your scout moms, peer to peer. Coaches are great. If you've got a buddy that's a baseball coach, you've got however many 11 boys that are captive right there with the baseball coach every Saturday. Give them some information, give them some cards, give them some recruiting packets. Your coaches might do the work for you. So just get to know what else is out there within your school, your church, your neighborhood, wherever you're recruiting from, rather than spreading yourself too thin. Getting to know the VIP is a big one too. So if that's going to be your principal, your minister, whoever's in charge of the location that you're recruiting from, they're the gatekeepers to a successful recruitment. If you have a principal that doesn't want you there, it's really hard to have a join night, to have a recruiting presence at the school. Get to know the principal, get to know the secretaries, bring them coffee, do whatever it takes. They're the gatekeepers. So if you work with them, find ways to get the word out about your unit. Beaverton's tough because we don't have flyers anymore. Everything's email and no one reads it. So right now we've got a new principal at our school. We're working on what are the other ways we can do it. Can we hang up a poster? Can we do an assembly? Can we find other ways to just get the word out there? And then the tools for promoting district and council tools. Posters, yard signs, flyers, and stickers, they're all free from council. I have a whole bunch in the back. There's enough yard signs for one for every person in here that wants to take one if you want, and we can also get more. There's posters, take as many as you like. There's order forms back there on how to order personalized flyers from council that has your information on it. I believe it's a 7-day notice that they require.
She's usually pretty quick.
Yeah, she's pretty fast. So you just fill out the order form, turn it in, they'll print up as many as you want, and then you've got flyers to hand out at whatever event you want. Stickers, all of it's free. Take advantage of it. Like I said, there's examples back there too of what they're printing up right now, and order forms. So take what you want. I learned this last night. A recent survey showed that 67% of scouts joined from only one, soft marketing contact. Soft marketing is posters, yard signs, a flyer that's passed out. 67%. Most of us don't think flyers are that effective. Says it is. 67%. Pretty big deal. BeAScout.org, again, if you're not on it, you should be on it. Make sure your pin is active. You have detailed information. I did a screen print of what ours looks like. So if anyone's interested in seeing what it looks like, we have good information. And also make sure that your register online is turned on. There's an option to turn on so that if they go in there, they can just apply online like that. It's great for your millennial parents who don't like paperwork. They want to go online, hit a button, and they're done. So make sure that's turned on.
Wait, are you sure about that? Well, what I have to do is I do that, and then my committee chair has to print it out and take it down to the council office.
And you still have to get money. You do still have to collect it, but they still, it still apply. It's still the same as a paper form.
Can I take this?
Yeah, yeah.
So what happens is electronic, and it goes in the system, and all the information, it's like a 3 or 4 page thing they fill out. They hit at the end, apply. Basically, it's their version of the electronic parent signature, right? And then the CC and the Cub Master and
Your
possibly
chief, right, yeah,
an
your
email, hey, you've got a new thing, go get it. Somebody has to go in and check the box that says, I approve. That is the Cub Master's signature equivalent, okay? And then they give you a downloaded PDF file. It's a half page, it's a 1 page thing. You print it out, you take it into council, and you pay them, just like you would with a regular app.
So as far as the parent side of it,
They're done, yeah, I get it, okay.
yeah, we have to do some paperwork on our end, but
Yeah.
for the parent, we clicked a button and we're good, yeah.
Is the info on beascout.org automatically updated through our recharter data?
Not that I know of, you have to
No.
set your PIN yourself, yeah. And your PIN, you set it yourself. What I have been taught is to have the most information you can put that's up to date on there. Ours has our location, who we're chartered through, when we meet, and right now it actually has 2 or 3 of our upcoming events, which says camping, but so it's a little outdated, but it has a couple of events. So anybody who types in our zip code, it'll pop up and they can hit the button that says see unit information, and it'll pop up and it'll say who we are, who we're chartered through, and oh look, we're active, we've got stuff to do. And then you can there's links, you can go to their website, there's all kinds of things you can put in there. So the more information you can have, the better, rather than just I'm PAC 111 at Beaverton, whatever. Make it sound good.
Worse is when it defaults to council.
Yes, if it defaults to council, it's awful.
Yeah.
And again, if you go and you look at a couple of them, get out of your scout brain and go into your parent brain, you're gonna go, I wouldn't join that pack. I would join this pack over here that had this information. So make yours look like the kind of pack you would join as a parent. So, it's really good for grabbing new to town scouts. You have people that have moved into town and maybe missed your recruitment night. They're new to school, they're new to town. If they know about scouting, they'll put in their zip code, it'll pop up. It's really good. And make sure you jump on your inquiries. I have a committee chair that's fabulous for that.
Oh, shucks.
No, because if you don't know where they're gonna go. You get an inquiry that says, hey, I'm interested in knowing more about your pack, jump on it and talk to that person and find out, to give them all the information.
Council has a ton of inquiries that are stale, right?
Yes, I went to the Be a Scout class at University of Scouting last year, and they did the sheet, the printout of all of the inquiries that were never responded to, and it was about 7 feet long. And those are scouts that came looking for a pack. All you needed to do was say, yes, we meet on Wednesdays at this time, please come join us, and you might have had scout. So that kind of stuff it's an opportunity you just kind of let slip away if you don't jump on those.
We've had a couple of people over the last year who've come through that from out of town because they said, we weren't there for the recruiting event, hey, and I'm the chair, so they ring me and they're like, hey, because they'll apply online, but they're not sure exactly what that means.
Right.
So then I'll get a phone call, so I'll go, hey, I just applied, or I'll get an email because all the information's on the thing. So it's good that they're that engaged, but it gives you all that information through the website.
And it gives you an opportunity to talk to them,
Exactly.
too, as the person in charge. So my suggestion is pick 1 or 2. We actually have 3 that get the information, but we have 1 that's really fast about it, so we just default to that person. But pick 1 or 2 committee members that you want to assign to be that person, to be that job, and make sure that they're quick on the button with it, they have the information, and that they follow through. And then your peer-to-peer cards again is another good tool for those. Have your scouts recruit for you. They're good at it. Be visible in your recruiting area. Set up a table. That's an example of what our table looks like for my pack at our recruiting night. We actually have a canopy that goes over. Actually, I'll show you the picture in a second. It looks like this. We have leaders in uniform. We have scouts in uniform. We have our photo board that shows all the fun, cool stuff that we do. We have rockets, we have Pinewood Derby cars, we have blocks of wood to say this is what it looked like when we started, this is what it looks like now. We have flyers, we usually get those little mini magazines, all kinds of stuff. And we put it out in the fields on our Meet the Teacher night where they serve dilly bars right across from us. So, be visible. Make sure you're handing out flyers if you're doing that with your join night information on it. Taking down those names, there's attendance rosters in the back too that you can take with you. You want to make sure you get people's names and information because if they don't show up to join night, now you got some phone calls to make. Now you got some emails to follow up on.
So I personally hate paperwork with a passion.
Yeah.
Would you suggest that on these join nights and stuff that you direct people people to be a scout in order to sign up? Because typically the thing is, hey, come to join night, and we'll hand out like a package that's got the paperwork and everything else. I just hate taking all that information and having to deal with it.
He's a millennial.
I was saying, the quick answer to that is we do it both ways. I'll cover that a little bit more when we get a little bit farther
Okay.
into it. But we offer both. We do the folders, but we also have our treasurer with a square. We have a QR code, and anybody who doesn't want to do papers, you just do it online. So we do both. We do it both ways. Uniform day. This is something that I want to try this year. We haven't done before. Let the scouts wear their uniforms to school. Pack t-shirt. Doesn't have to be full uniform. Just something that says Cub Scouts on it. And send them with those buddy cards again. Because stand up guys. Turn around. This is impressive to other boys their age. Every single kid that we've seen when they go into school like this goes, wow, where did you get all that stuff? and a lot of the stuff they got their first year and they went, you got that in 1 year? The boys think it's really cool. And whatever you can send a message to the boys that's cool, gets them there. Okay, good job guys. Okay, so yeah, that's it. Community participation. If you can get out and about in the community, go to tree lightings, go to service projects in your community, flag ceremonies. If your community does, Memorial Day or Veterans Day, volunteer to do flag duty. Just letting your neighborhood know that scouts are alive and well in your community. Every time I go out in a uniform with the boys, I get the same comment every time. You mean Scouts is still around? You guys are still doing stuff? Yeah, we are. Plan and execute successful joint night. Do fall and spring recruitment. I know a lot of people hate spring recruitment because it's not very effective. I'm hoping that between now and then I'll have some better tips to maybe make it better and more effective. But participate, because again, you can't get anybody if you don't try. Plan your join night close to your recruitment. So if you're going to set up at a school on back to school night, have your join night the next week if you can. Don't drag it out too far because you'll lose people. They'll forget that they're supposed to go. So have it somewhat close. Offer incentives to scouts who bring friends. This can be anything. Our boys, actually both of these have earned recruiter strips, actual awards for recruiting their friends. That's a huge, big plus for them. Hey, that's another award. But even if you don't want to do that, give them a pizza party, give them an ice cream social, just any kind of little thing that sets that up. I went to a training once, they call it a barf contest. Bring and recruit a friend or something like that was called. And they set it up that way to the kids. We're gonna have a barf contest. They went nuts. Because what little kids don't go nuts over a barf contest? And then make sure that you're following up with your leads from Be a Scout in your recruitment event. So if you get Be a Scout leads before you've done your join night, follow up with them too. Make sure you plan your join night in advance with your committee. Yes?
Would anybody like more?
There's more cake.
This is a great point for a brain break.
Yes, there's cake.
30 seconds, grab some cake.
Okay.
Thanks,
So,
Heather.
yeah, no problem. So, make sure that you plan your join night with your committee beforehand. If you're just going to wing a join night, I guarantee you it's not going to go over well. Plan it with your committee, plan it with your leaders, make sure you know who's doing what you're going to do, when you're going to do it, who's responsible, all of that stuff. Because another thing that parents like, especially moms and especially millennials, is organization. How do you knock the parents' socks off with how organized your pack is? Have an organized join night and don't have them come to your pack meeting as the first thing. Because pack meetings, not very organized.
Even the best ones.
Even the best ones, there's chaos. So plan it out. Make sure that everybody's there. Don't have just 2 leaders there to run a join night when you might get 30 or 40 boys. It's not going to go over well. We did it one year, and I love this, is consider asking a big brother troop to come help you out. If you've got a big brother troop or any troop that you work with that's willing to come and help run those games, run those events, it's great because it takes pressure off your leaders, and it also shows the new scouts what the Boy Scouts, there's Boy Scouts I can aspire to. So it gives them that little extra thing. Make sure that you wear a name tag so your parents know who you are. There's questions on uniforms and pack shirts, whether they're good or not. There's talk about the us versus them divide that you can sometimes have. So I leave that up to you, whatever you want to do. Yeah.
One thing that I was told a year ago at the membership summit was if everyone's in a scout shirt, a uniform, they think we're all from council and they go, it's especially millennials go, no.
Right.
So when we did this about, was a
We
year
did pack
ago,
t-shirts.
we had our committee in pack t-shirts and our den leaders and our cub master in uniform
Right.
shirts.
Yeah.
And it kind of eased that, I don't know if it worked or not, but I thought it was, I don't know if I want to do that again either. but-
I've also heard for the Cubs too, have the Cubs not
Have you
in
guys
uniform.
tried
Because then
that
they're all
to do
together.
t-shirts at all instead of uniforms? It's an idea.
So yeah, something to play with, something to think about. I don't have any data on that in particular. So yeah. Have a new parent meeting away from your scout activities. We tried it once too close to our scout activities. It was the most distracting meeting we ever had because every parent was, what is my scout doing? And then there was noise. Set your scouts up with your leaders, or whoever's running the games, separate from the parents. As long as the parents get to know who their kids are going with, they'll be okay for a half an hour or how long it takes. Before you start your meeting, ask every single parent there, why are you here? What do you want from your son in scouting? The reason that you do this is because everybody here, if I were to ask you, why are you here? I guarantee everybody here has a different answer. What do you want for your son out of scouting? Your parents are going to have different answers. So how do you sell scouting to your parents? Find out what they want and then tell them this is how they're going to get it. At your parent meeting, have your presentation ready. Keep it simple. Make sure you're playing to your parents. Don't use BSA lingo. As I say, BSA. They don't know what that means unless they're a scout. And you will have some scouts there, probably former scouts, Eagle Scouts maybe, but most of them don't know and they're just going to get confused. And if they get confused, they're going to tune you out. Make sure that you address those why are you here questions. Gather it up ahead of time so that you know what do I have to talk about to these parents. What do these parents care about? Touch on scouting values and the things that parents want besides fun. The boys want to blow stuff up, shoot things, and hike. Parents want the boys to have fun, but they want more than that. Fun is not the only thing they want. I have a reference there to the Tufts University did a study. I don't know how many of you know about this. You can find it on Scouting Wire, where they actually did a study of character values and education for scouts versus non-scouts. And it shows clearly 100% that boys involved in scouting do better in school and they build better character than boys who aren't. That's what your parents care about. I saw that and I went, as a mom, that's what I want for my kid. So that's online. You can get that if you want to use it or don't. The whole family scouting in experience, parent volunteering, stress the importance of that. The more you can get your parents on board at the beginning to help out. This is a volunteer organization. Everybody helps out. I have a list of tasks that we really need to get done. Just sign up for something little. Easy done. And another thing I heard in a Cubcast, I believe, the scouting program gives you the most reward for the least amount of time investment of any program, and that's sports, music, anything else. The kids are going to get the most out of scouting for the least amount of time. Show a video, slideshow, or photo display board. We have the photo display back there. I have a video that we did that I don't know if I'm going to have time for. If I do, I'll show it at the end. Pictures are worth 1,000 words, and millennials are all about videos right now. If you can show a video that shows how much fun their son's going to have in your pack, it's a really easy sale. Make it easy for them to join. So this is that online thing again. Council folders, you'll get council folders that have what council wants you to have in them. Go through them, take out what you don't want, put in what you do want. You can customize it for anything that you want. We put in a parent guide, and you can personalize your own. There is a generic one in there. I have an example of what ours looks like. There's examples in the back if you want to take one, look through it for ideas. It's not completely unique. But it's good. We have things like pictures of our leadership in here so that parents can go, oh, there's a face to the name. So put a parent guide in there. Make sure you have a calendar, 12 to 18 month calendar, so they know what your PAC is doing for this next year. We also like to put med forms in there because I'm the keeper of the med forms and they're never done on time. It's always the last minute before camp. And then, yeah, we did a QR code last year and had our square, and we had probably about half of our scouts signed up that way.
The key point is the QR code sends them directly to the apply online link from Be a Scout.
Okay.
So if you're on your phone, you go click, all of a sudden you got that first page, and you start, oh, Billy Cub Scout, and just go.
Yeah. And then they can come up and say, here's my credit card. Do that. The square's a really good thing because, again, that's another millennial thing. They don't carry cash. They don't carry checks. You can get a square. Squares, I believe, are free
Yeah.
for the most part. There's a little bit of a surcharge, 3%. Yeah, so you can kind of work that into what you're charging if you want to, however you want to do it. But it makes it really easy, and we've used it for other things too besides join, so it's worth looking into. And then get that signed and paid application before they leave. Don't do the hard sell, but don't just let them walk out. Talk to them about why is it that they're not signing up. Did you answer all their questions? Did you address their concerns? If you haven't, ask them, can I give you a call next Thursday to talk about this? Set a date, set a time. Again, not that generic, oh, we should have coffee sometime. You can even give them the story. Oh, our dens are forming, and for planning, our leaders need to know how many new scouts we're going to have. So your application guarantees you a spot in the den. See how it works. So be creative. Just don't let them walk out the door. Scouting sells itself to boys, but you have to sell it to parents. That's the way it works. Is there any questions on promoting?
That was awesome.
And you will get it, yeah. And you will get it by email, so don't expect to have to remember everything I said.
Do you have copies of that Tufts thing?
I have
Because there was no
one.
link up there, right?
Yes, I have one that's the one pager. If anybody wants to look at it, you can. Otherwise, it is on Scouting Wire, and the link to Scouting Wire is on there. If you go to Scouting Wire and you type in Tufts University, it will come up.
Yes.
But it's really amazing.
I have a
really
hard
amazing.
time selling scouting as an Eagle Scout. I look at it and go, well, yeah, duh, right? This is for the people who have never been in scouting and have no idea. This is how you sell it to mom and dad.
Yeah, it really is, and it speaks volumes because most of these parents, they're putting their scouts in scouting for character building. They want their kids to get values. They want them to learn how to be helpful and not be so me generation centered, and they're getting it here. And that study shows that they're getting it, and they're doing better in school. I've watched a lot of our scouts get awards that I know for a fact they would not be getting even at the elementary level if they were not in scouts. So it does work. Okay, our last point is maintain. Maintain and motivate. So maintaining your current membership ensures your future PAC growth. Again, less that you lose throughout the year means less you have to gain next year. It's just kind of law of averages. Maintain your PAC membership. Your scouts need to stay engaged in learning. If your scouts are bored, they're out the door. They're just gone. Motivating is how you keep them interested, engaged, and active in your PAC. The more motivated they are, the longer they're going to hang out. So maintaining and motivating means keeping your scouts you have in your PAC and motivating them to stay. So how do we find those opportunities for maintaining it? We're going to take attendance. Your den leader should be taking attendance at every den meeting. Somebody should be taking attendance at every PAC event, every PAC meeting. Should be tracking where your scouts are, who's not showing up, who's showing up with the bells on, whatever you want to do. Those den leaders need to be reporting attendance at your PAC, your parent meetings, your committee meetings, whatever leadership meetings you have. And this is going to help identify those scouts that are on that bubble that we might be losing up. If you've got a den leader that comes to a parent meeting and their scout's been gone for 4 den meetings in a row, we know we need to touch base with that scout. If you've got a den meeting that doesn't take attendance or that knows the scouts have been gone but never tells anybody, well, how are we going to get that scout back? So it's keeping people accountable, for knowing what their kids are doing. Sometimes it's just paying attention and looking for cracks. You know, do you have families that are struggling to get to events or pay for events? Barriers, again, you know, you should have an idea, if you know your scouts pretty well and your families pretty well, who's maybe struggling with stuff. You have scouts that look bored and distracted. Another pretty easy one. You create a solid leadership and program foundation keeps those scouts from falling through the cracks. Okay, so how are we gonna do that? Jules, your leadership. You need to have a pack, I call it a pack point person. Designate one person to be responsible for following up with those absent scouts. If you've got a membership or a recruitment chair, that would be your person. If you've got a den leader who's willing to, or maybe you have all your den leaders who say, I'll take responsibility for my den, great. If you've got a committee chair that says, yeah, I'm willing to do that, just have somebody designated who's going to make that phone call, who's going to put that email out there to follow up with these absent scouts. They need to be prompt in making sure that they're reaching out, finding out why the scouts have gone, talking about questions, concerns, any of that kind of stuff, and offer help, and do their best that they can to get that scout back. Your den leaders, the closest leaders to your scout families. They should know, get a pretty good idea of what's going on with those families. And if that scout stops coming, they might know, oh, well, mom just had a baby, so can't get Johnny Cub Scout to the den meeting. All right, well, is there somebody who's willing to go pick up Johnny Cub Scout? So make sure that your den leaders know what's going on and encourage them to get to know their parents and, again, take the attendance and share their concerns about the attendance at those committee meetings. District support, if all else fails, call me. You know, if you need help and you're not getting it, let me know. Your parents, I used your stop, start, continue. Stop, start, continue is about getting feedback on what you're doing. Talk to your parents, get parent input, what they like, what they don't like, what they'd like to see happen throughout the year, and especially for suggestions for next year when you go into like annual planning. That helps keep your parents and your kids coming to things if they are part of the planning and they know they're going to be having fun. Have parent meetings. We have parent meetings once a month. We don't have a lot of parents that show up, but we offer it. And then when your parents do show up, you're involving them in the everyday function of running the pack. You're giving them input. You take ideas from them, take feedback from them. It's a good time to get them involved in things. If you're not having luck getting parents to a parent meeting, you might consider having one as part of your PAC meeting. I know there are some PACs that will pull their parents aside as part of a PAC meeting while the boys are doing something else, and they'll have a quick little informational parent meeting while they're all there. So it can be done. We've never tried it.
Or the other one was to have a little pack meeting and then send all the scouts out to play
Yes.
with the Cub Masters and Den Leaders.
Yes.
And then your CC and your secretary or whatever, well, okay, parents, here's what's going on.
Yep.
That's what we do.
Right?
Right.
Does it work?
You know, we've only tried it twice now, I think, if I remember correctly, since I've been the committee chair. And the first time it didn't work because the Cub Master was sort of like, oh, and if you're interested, go over there and Brett's over there. And that was for Friends of Scouting.
Okay.
Well, there you go.
The one time where I really used people,
Right.
but the second time was actually our final meeting earlier in the year, and we got pretty good attendance, and that was really a beat the drum. We may not be able to keep this pack open if you guys don't start volunteering in a nice way. And we got a bunch of volunteers. We actually got a new pack master.
So they had to come to Maiden Powell on it.
Right.
Yes.
But your parents, I mean, most of your parents come to PAC meetings.
They do, but
And they might not come to parent meetings, so it's an
Yeah,
option if it works.
that's why we do it
Right.
together, and we do tell them in advance, hey, this is what we're going to do, we're going to let you know, we're going to have the kids go off and play, and I want to talk to you about X, Y, or Z, and sometimes that turns them off, because they're like, about that. But sometimes it's
They
like,
get the information.
they do,
Yeah, which
and
is
so
good.
that's the important part,
Yeah.
right?
So yeah, that's something to consider. Getting your parents involved. New parents especially, they like to be involved, but they don't like to lead. So don't say, hey, I need somebody to do popcorn sales next week. They're gonna say, no,
Bonbonies
no
are-
thanks. But if you say to them, I I need someone to volunteer to do a popcorn shift in 2 weeks. Well, now that changes things a little bit. So you need to get things done, break those big jobs down into smaller jobs, and then your parents will sign up. And if you recognize them for the job they did, yay, well done, good job, parent. They'll come back and they'll start taking on more and more stuff, because I'm guilty of that myself.
Yeah, they'll sign up for committee chair.
That's right, they will eventually. That is exactly how I became the PAC secretary, because I wanted to have a say in what the program was. And I was told, if you want to say, you need to be on the committee. So I said, all right, fine, sign me up for the committee. So it can happen.
In your face.
Yes. And he's regretted it ever since. So yeah, your parents, being involved keeps them committed. If they're there, they're gonna show up. So we're gonna identify our opportunities. So planning meetings, have your annual planning meeting and monthly meetings with your parents. That's how you're gonna find some of these cracks, find out what's motivating, what's not motivating your scouts. Build an awesome calendar. Have a fun calendar. Don't do the same thing every year. Find some things that are good standbys that you can do. We do a lot of archery and we kind of throw that in every once in a while. Camp, always camp. But fill it in with some new kind of cool, fun stuff. Keep the kids on their toes so that they don't get bored. Consider having activities or meetings or both over the summer. A lot of units take summers off. We do 1 to 2 activities a month over the summer. We don't do den meetings. We do 1 or 2 activities a month over the summer because our PAC tries to earn the Summertime Activity Award every year. Keeps the kids interested, engaged, and coming back over the summer so they don't get, by the time school starts, it hasn't been like, oh, it's been 4 months since I did the scouts, I don't care about it anymore. And then, use your feedback you get from parents, leaders, scouts to keep that calendar fun. So if you've got parents who are willing to give you feedback, don't ignore it, take it to heart, and do something with it. Find out, and you can ask them what motivates their boys. Again, not every boy is motivated by the same thing. You can ask your parents, hey, what motivates Johnny? What's he like to do? Your leadership too, if you're struggling for motivation, what are your leaders doing to keep the boys motivated in their den meetings? Because that's a smaller group, but it might work on a larger scale. Because they have a whole different beast at the den meeting level than we have at PAC activity level. So, you can always talk to your parents, you can always talk to your leadership. All right, so tools again, parents, always leadership. Keep them motivated, ask your leaders for ideas, ask your parents for ideas. The recognition part's important. Make sure you're recognizing, saying thank you to your parents. They like to hear that. The pride from accomplishment keeps scouts engaged, so make sure you're recognizing your scouts, that immediate recognition. If they do an adventure, you give them that award. Whatever it is, our den is working on a NOVA award this summer just because we thought it would be fun for them to do. Something different, something fun. If they're going to get it in the summer, they're going to get it right away.
Mom, we're already done with it.
I mean, Bobcat. Make sure your new boys Bobcat as soon as possible. If you can we ran a Bobcat night, like one of the first meetings, we ran all of our new scouts through the Trail of a Bobcat.
Bobcat workshop.
Yes, it was
And the
Trail
goal
of a
was to go
Bobcat.
through everything
Yep.
except for the adult youth protection discussion. That was homework, and then they got it the next PAC.
Yep. Take it home, bring it back. Next PAC meeting, they're all Bobcat. They're done.
And we did that because we had 20 new scouts, and
Yes.
it worked.
It worked. And then they've got their first badge to put on their uniform. That pride, it'll carry them through.
Which will get you 20 new scouts next year.
Yeah, right? We had some fun awards to existing events. Like our Pinewood Derby this year, we had like best paint job, fastest looking, just little things like that. We just give out little tiny plastic trophies. Anything to keep them engaged and interested and always kind of striving to do a little bit more. You might consider having an attendance reward for scouts who show up to everything. Ice cream party, something like that. Just making an effort. Hey, you showed up to everything. Nice job. And then obviously handing out the books when you have a join night, which will be free again this year. So your new scouts, they sign up at join night, they get a free handbook. We do pack t-shirts, and we have, I don't have some, they have a special patch, we have a special number.
Chase had it on.
Yeah,
Stand up and turn around.
because our pack was 55 years old, and so we had special ones made. So all of our boys get,
BoyScoutsStore.com.
yeah. So So all of our scouts get a special 685 patch and their handbook and a t-shirt. Again, handbook, they have to go home, read it. This is cool. Carries them over to the next thing because you always want them to be carrying it over to the next thing. So handing that stuff out at the very first time is good. So motivating and maintaining membership go hand in hand. Your motivated scouts equals maintain membership. Okay, anything about maintain motivation? Yeah.
Last year there was a promo for, I think, free scout handbooks.
Yep, they're having that again this
They're
year.
doing that again this year?
Yep, district will have free handbooks. So that's there.
Do you ever get any in advance, or is it after?
Over up your district guys, so you can go check them out.
Yeah, you would,
That's
yeah.
what you told me, right?
What?
Anybody with silver tabs, you can go just check out.
I told you that because I didn't want to go down.
Oh.
No, we had like 5 people in our pack that could go get them. I was like, well, who's gonna go get them? Yeah. So I don't know like what the availability as far as time, how early they. I know Lisa has that information. She'd be a good one to check with. I'm sure probably if you basically say this is when my join night is, they will have somebody from district available to come bring books to you.
Or you should just call Dan and say, Dan, here's my day, here's my time, he'll be there.
No, because what I'd say is, I don't ask Lisa.
You're right, exactly.
All right.
So, okay, so I'm not gonna like spend a whole lot of time on this because again, these are gonna go out to everybody, and it's just kind of the recruiting tips and tools that we have. Your join night, make sure that you have use of a building. School building use stuff can get really tricky. So if you meet at a school and you don't know how to get building use permission, make sure you have that lined up before you start recruiting because it can sometimes can take a while, can it? Depending on who you're.
It's a bureaucrat.
Yeah.
How many of you guys meet in the school? Yeah, you got an audience.
Yeah.
Well, last year they switched the entire system to that new online.
Now it's all school.
Yes.
So as long as you're registered in
So
school,
this
it's
is-
no problem.
Yeah.
Have you done it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Anybody who
there's-
hasn't, there's no
So that's the link. Yeah, I actually read it. I'm not doing the whole walkthrough. But
Okay,
I
fine.
can get the walkthrough for you. But that's the link to do Beaverton School District is all online. They don't
Actually, I
take
find
it.
it much easier now to school do than dealing with the office.
Okay.
But it's getting in there, getting your account set up.
Oh, they were happy with that. They didn't want to talk to me anymore.
Really?
They was actually really quick for me.
Yeah,
I
that's
had the
quick.
biggest pain.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It was, I think it was 2 days.
It used to be more annoying in your school office,
Oh.
Yes.
and then they're more than it's happy to do.
Well, that's true because it's got to go through the school's approval. And so sometimes it just gets, especially when you do the actual thing, they have to actually approve it and then that goes back to the
District.
district who then approves it.
The only thing that we've run into with it is, like, I was texting here just a minute ago, confirming what David wanted for this year. Yeah, the only thing we run into is we'll go in, I'll go in and schedule a whole year here in the next week. But then anytime the school wants to do something, we get bumped. So you always have to have that contingency room.
I found that I couldn't do the whole year because winter break locked out. No, you can't request over that.
Mhm.
And I don't know if that's our school or what.
So you can do it
I
twice.
agree. Before winter, between winter and spring break, and after
I
spring
think
break.
that's what it was last
Here's
year.
the
We were
tip
only-
on that.
yeah, something like
I
that.
actually talked to the person that's on the other side that does the approving,
Okay.
and there's 2 ways you can do it. You can sign up and say, I want every 3rd Tuesday of the month for all of these months, and they say, don't do it that way. You can
Yeah.
also go in and say, I want these specific dates, and you list out 9 specific dates.
Oh.
Because if
And
you
you
do it,
request.
if you do it over the time, if any one of them you don't have, it bounces the entire
Wow,
lot.
Yeah,
that's
so
a pro
she
tip
said-
right
There you
there.
go.
That's awesome. Thank
There
you,
you go.
John.
Go in and just do the,
Be very specific
Yeah, I
about
think
that.
that's what made it easy last year, is I went in and did every single individual.
That's what I
That
did.
must have taken forever.
It doesn't take that long, because you just keep going back, do it back, do it back. Do it back.
You just need to have a calendar there. Yeah, that's right. When I did it last year, I sat there with a calendar and checked it off as I went.
Right.
Wow.
Because, yeah, that's right. They-
Well,
And
and
get some pros in the room.
I was gonna say.
And I did it, no, I did it for the packs and the Danes. So
Yeah.
I had a lot, I was sitting in front of the computer for at least a couple of hours.
I also found it very beneficial to find out who the nighttime janitor is,
Yes.
get his cell phone number,
Remember.
and make sure that he is invited to every food event and the food is.
Blue and gold VIP table.
Yes.
He actually ran into me in Walmart 2 weeks ago. I'm like, hey, how you doing? You guys have scouts? I'm like, yeah, I'll have the room unlocked. All right, I'll bring you pizza. We're good.
All right. So yay, you got great tips for that then. So You can consider doing a Trail of the Bobcat kind of thing for a joy night. We marketed it last year. I don't know how many people did it, if it works or not. Something to consider. Keep it fun and active. Do it outside if you can. Gets the boys outside. Boys like to be outside. That's the whole point of joining Cub Scouts. Your parent meeting, make sure you're introducing your leadership to the group. Talking to your parents again about what they want. Think like a parent, not a leader. That's the hardest thing, is get back into, before you started, what did you want? And go after your parents from that perspective. Pretty much the same stuff I put in over there. Again, moms are the decision makers. You need to sell them, not the boys. The boys are, yay, mom, I want to join. Moms are the ones that are making your decisions, so make sure you get your moms. And your millennials choose only 1 or 2 things for their kids to do. It's not like when I was a kid and mom said, hey, go do 800 things because I don't want you in the kitchen. They choose 1 or 2 things. So you got to make sure that you're presenting them with a really good thing in order to sell them, because if they have maybe 1 or 2 other things on the back burner.
And they're picky.
And they're
about
picky,
those 1 or 2
yes.
things.
And I learned that they like to try before they buy. So again, it's letting those boys experience it. If you've got a way that you can structure an activity, if you can get your parents to maybe help out with an activity and then do a parent meeting, some way to get them involved, they're more likely to drive that car home. Here's some web links for some of the stuff I talked about. Brand Center, that's where you'll find your buddy cards and a whole bunch of other great information. There's a whole membership section there. Good deal. Be a Scout, if you're not on Be a Scout, that's how you find it. Scouting Wire has a membership section. It's got great recruiting tools. That's where the Tufts University study is found. I did the link to the actual university study there, so you can actually just click on it and go there. The 11 Moms Project. This was a project that was done by I believe it was a PAC in the Seattle area, Washington area somewhere. And they took 11 moms who made videos about their scouting experiences. It is phenomenal. It is absolutely phenomenal. You want to know what your moms are thinking when it comes to scouts or how to sell it to moms? Go watch that video.
Would you
Yeah.
recommend showing that at a joint night or something like that?
You know what? I would leave it up to you. We like to show what our PAC's actually doing rather than someone else's testimonial. But it's up to you.
I think it would be, because I've seen it.
Yeah.
With the council out of Tacoma. I think it would be best on like an e-invitation or even a paper invitation.
Okay.
But if they don't know what they're getting into.
Yeah. And I think, if I remember correctly, the stories are actually also narrated out to where you can read them as well as watch the video, possibly.
Yeah, the website's pretty slick.
Yeah. So I think it's a really good insight into your mom's brains of what they're thinking about when you're going, how do I market this? Okay, so wrap it up. So this is what we covered: membership vision and goals, our RPM, some recruiting tips and tools. Anybody else have any questions, thoughts, anything like that? That was a lot of information I threw at you.
Awesome information.
That's a lot of information. Yeah.
We're almost done.
Chase.
Is there an ideal number for the number of kids in a den? Because it seems like too big is also a problem.
6 to 8.
Yeah,
7
6
is
to 8.
ideal.
We're having like 12 and it's getting, we're almost having to divide and.
There's a whole thing there. Do you want to talk about that?
We had that happen to twice. Yeah, our group that we crossed over last year was 13. 13? Yeah. He had a really great handle on it, but he needed our Cub Master to help out, so they had the help. But the boys being a little bit older, I think, helped them kind of navigate it. They're done right here. We're at 9 right now. We get one and we lose one, and we get one and we lose. I think we had 10 or 11 at the max, and then we lost a couple. And we went through, what do we do? Because we wanted to divide them into 2 dens, and A, we couldn't get a leader, and B, they were all buddies, and they'd done 3 den meetings or 4 den meetings together. They didn't want to split.
And they recruited all their friends too.
They recruited all their friends. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, 'cause we had a couple that recruited their friends. So that was really tough. So I think
The answer to how to
Yeah.
run a den meeting with like 12, 13, 14 is to have 4 stations or 3 and have multiple parents doing multiple things simultaneously and rotate. And just keep it going, keep it going, keep it going. And you have to have buy-in. You have to have multiple
Yeah.
team leaders or then you're gonna master, and that's exactly what the 13 that we just crossed over did. And it was a little bit of chaos, but it also worked.
And they had a den chief.
They had a den chief, that
Yes,
was awesome.
which we're working on getting that as well.
Yes.
And the den chiefs are great, not just for the managing of the scouts, but again, it also helps that piece of them crossing over because they've got somebody to model. You know, those den chiefs set a really great example for what Boy Scouts is going to be. So den chiefs are really good.
How do you get den chiefs? Because when I grew up,
Do you have a big brother troop?
I had no idea.
Okay, I would start with that, and if not, if there's another
I
troop
mean,
in your area.
So I have
We have
requests
two.
up to 3 troops right now for den chiefs. I just keep knocking on the door, and one of these days, somebody's gonna actually send me a Boy Scout. You just have to start getting to know the scoutmaster and or the committee chair of the troops that are around you, and say, hey, we meet on Tuesday or Wednesday, when do you meet? I'd love to have a den chief. They usually wanna send it to you because that means you're creating a conduit between your pack and that troop, and that means scouts flow their way.
Right.
So you're giving them that opportunity.
Yeah, we're lucky. We're like when I came in, we already had a den chief, but I'm thinking about the new groups that are coming through.
I would love to see den chiefs for bears,
Yeah.
Bugalows for sure.
Definitely, yeah.
Our problem is
Yes.
everything's.
Back in the back.
So if your pack feeds a troop, that's the troop you go to. If you're sending Weevil crossovers to a troop, because this is a two-way conversation here. They're taking your guy, you want one of their guys.
Right.
We're not coming until we have one.
And if
Go ahead and
you
do that.
feed more than one troop, have that conversation with multiple troops and try to
Absolutely.
spread it out amongst dens.
Yeah.
One here, one there, one here, one there, right?
And then there's den chief training for that young person and the scoutmaster, so that if they don't know what it is, they get involved. I would go as a den leader, or pack leader, to that training as well, so you know what that den chief is required to do. And then everybody can make that young man successful as well as the den that he's going to be serving.
And the kids will never forget him.
And then what happens is those Wiggles will go with that den training.
Right, yeah.
Absolutely, because they become buddies.
There you
And that kind of worked, didn't it, John?
Yes,
How
it did.
many did you guys get?
Most of the 13.
go. Most of the
It was like-
13,
It
yeah.
was like 9 or so.
9.
Yeah, you guys got our sticker shock.
Alright, you're good.
Yeah, okay, any other questions? Okay, so in the back, there's the leader portion of the join packets. There's one back there for everybody on the table. You can check out what our little recruiting setup looks like back there. There's order forms for, actually there's order forms in here too as well. For flyers, there's examples of flyers, there's posters, there's yard signs, there's all kinds of stuff back there. Check it out. There's also the folders with the applications and all stuff that you actually need for your join nights. There's a whole bunch of them back there. Take whatever you want. And then otherwise, the only other information I have is Centennial Pinewood Derby's October 1st. Plugging Centennial Pinewood Derby. And Mike's next month roundtable, what are we doing? Cub Scouting with Disabilities. So, all right.
Or special needs is what we're calling them.
Okay. So
Thank you, Heather!